From the Worldwide Reb, this is Reflections of a Rabbi.
One drop of honey makes a world of difference. One drop of honey makes learning sweet. Add one drop of honey to Talmud Torah, and you've got a team that can't be beat. All starts with the children. Open minds and smiling faces.
I'm certainly not the first to talk about this, and I'm sure I won't be the last. And I know that the people involved in what I'm about to talk about really kind of just want it to go away. Unfortunately, it can't. Last week, Nofrat Frankel, who is a committed Masorti conservative Jew in Israel and a medical student, was arrested or detained for questioning, depending on who you ask and what you read. She was with the Women of the Wall, and she was davening. It was Rosh Chodesh. She was praying. And they were about to read a Torah, and they were asked, not so nicely, to not do it there, so they started to walk to Robinson's Arch, which is where egalitarian minyanim, and you might say non-traditional services, are allowed to meet. She was carrying that Torah and wearing a talit when police came up and took her away. They first took her to the police center at the Kotel at the Western Wall, and then over to Jaffa Gate. Here's what's problematic about this. It's the same thing that I was talking about months ago over the summer when the Ultra-Orthodox were rioting about the parking lots being open, the municipal parking lot in Jerusalem being opened. Jerusalem does not belong to the Ultra-Orthodox. The Kotel must not belong to the Ultra-Orthodox alone. It belongs to all of us. The idea that a woman who is Jewish can go to countries where for centuries Jews have been persecuted and wear a tallis without being bothered, and yet can't stand at the Kotel, the Western Wall, and daven and pray without being arrested or detained for questioning, is absurd. I was in Israel a few weeks ago, and I noticed for the first time that there's now a walkway from the security area over to the men's section on the back of the plaza that's just for men. For some reason now, Orthodox men can't even walk through over the plaza, through the mixed section. We've gone beyond absurd. It's time for us to take back our holiest site. We spend a lot of time worrying about what the Muslims are doing to the Temple Mount, but now we need to start wondering what the Ultra-Orthodox are doing to the Temple Mount. Why is it that conservative, reform, Jews that do not identify as Ultra-Orthodox, why do we feel persecuted in our own place? Why do we feel questioned? Why do we have to struggle just to connect to God in our holiest site? It's not acceptable anymore. It shouldn't have been acceptable before. I wish I knew what to do about it. For me, I guess ranting and raving is a piece of it. But I'll tell you this much. I have 3 more trips to Israel planned coming up in February, March, and June. And without wanting to cause trouble, without wanting to cause a stir, and certainly without wanting any of the people that I'm bringing to Israel with me to have any kind of trouble or tsuris, I plan on doing everything I can to help each of the participants who come with me experience the Western Wall as their own. Not as belonging to the Ultra-Orthodox and we're just visitors, but as our own. This was our temple. This is our holiest site. This is our land. We deserve to be able to be there, to pray there, to worship there, and to connect there in whatever way is meaningful for us. Until next time. Lehi Trout.